Okay guys, so here's my way overdue promised video on how to, well, just a couple tips and tricks on cartooning with Desmos. And as you can see, I found a dirt simple dog cartoon just to show you some simple principles. And there's a couple of things you can do to make your lives easier and my ability to grade this easier. First, if you click on your image, you are able to move it around and resize it. Now, I've decided I want to start on the pooch's head, okay? So I'm going to center the head at the origin as much as I can. And it looks like I've given the dog a, oh, nope, don't want to lengthen it there. If you grab the corners, you keep the original proportions. If you grab these middle handles, then you get something a little bit different. You wind up distorting the original image. Okay, so it looks pretty close to the center of the dog's head, and the first thing I want to do is make a folder, and I'm going to call that head. And now I'm going to start manipulating shapes to get what I want out of this thing. So we're going to start with a circle. Now, my repositioning, I had a goal, x squared plus y squared equals 4. I thought that might be close to the dog's actual head size, and I was completely wrong. Now I can guess numbers here. I can try 3. That's closer, but this might get frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try r sub 1, which is now a slider. Oh, and it's r sub 1 squared. And now I can get the circle any radius I want to by manipulating the slider. That looks pretty good, but it's not perfect. So I'm going to click on the picture, grab the center handle, and change the picture a little bit. Okay, and if I'm really determined to have a circle with a radius of 2, that's fine. I'll just change my picture to fit it. You got a lot of options here. I'll line up the picture with the upper right and then pull in the lower left corner. This can be tedious. You know, maybe I should have stuck with the other size. But I'm here now, and I've just about got it. And you don't have to perfect this. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's pretty good, actually. But it doesn't have to be perfect. If I can easily recognize and see the spirit of what you're going for, honestly, that's more important than getting everything to line up perfectly. Now, my drawing, okay, so there's a green circle. My dog's not green. This is a black and white drawing. Well, with that weird sepia tone. So first thing I'm going to do is make the background a little bit more transparent. See what I did there? This settings button, it's an edit button, and it opens up all sorts of possibilities, like changing the transparency of the image. That's cool. And then, oh, also under edit, I can make this black, or dotted if I want, or dashed. I'll stick with a solid black line, because that is what I'm going for. I can make the image go away to see what I have. Okay, so there's part of the head. But the head isn't just this circle. The head of a dog includes its nose, its snout, and that's these other circles here. So those circles will not be centered at the origin. And once again, to get them where I want, I'm going to use sliders. So in fact, I'm going to start with that. I'm not even going to bother guessing numbers. I'm just going to put h sub 2 squared plus parentheses y minus k sub 2 squared equals r sub 2 squared. Now, I know this is not my second h and k. In fact, it's my first h and k. But it's my second radius, and I find it easier to keep track of these shapes if I number them consistently within each shape. So even though this is the first time I'm using the h to translate the x counterintuitively, I'm going to call it h sub 2 because it's lined up with an r sub 2. That's just how I roll. And now I'm going to try and line this up nicely. Oh, that's pretty good. Radius is a little big. Let's bring that radius down a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Now it's going from 1 to 0.9, and I'm not thrilled with either, so I'm going to put it right in the middle at 0.95. And I'm going to move my h over just a little bit more. Again, it's not quite where I want it. You can be as picky as you want to. 812, 813. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, that's starting to come along. Now, I need another snout, and I really want it to be of equal size, and I don't want to change the radius, and in fact, I don't want to change the height either. So here's a nice little option. I'm going to copy that circle and paste it down below. Oh, and I want all these to still be in the head. Somewhere I lost, started operating outside of my folder, so I'm dragging these back into the folder. Okay, so I've duplicated this cheek jowl. It was originally in black. I've just duplicated it in purple. Now, the only thing I want to do is slide this thing over to the right, the purple one, and keep the exact same height and the exact same radius. So in other words, all I want to change is this H. I want to make that H sub 3, which Desmos will ask me to make a slider. And now when I manipulate H sub 3, oh, so close to where I want it, I'm just going to move it over a little bit. That's pretty good. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Okay, just where I want it. Go to Edit, make that circle black, and okay, I'm pretty happy with those circles. Can't do a thing about the line thickness and don't really care. But here's a problem. This is not shaping up to be a pooch because on the original drawing, oh, when you put things into folders, click on the folder, everything in the folder disappears. It's like magic, guys. Folders are wonderful. But if you look at the pooch, when you're looking at this jowl, you don't see the continued arc length of the circle of the head behind it. When you're looking at this jowl, you don't see the continued arc length of the circle from the other jowl behind it. So it looks like this jowl of these three circles is the one that's most in the front. Okay, I want this one to be in the front. That's important. Here's what I'm going to do. In Desmos, as you know, I hope, you can put limits on things. For example, one way to get rid of this lower part of the circle is to notice that this is at a y height of -1272. And I'm going to limit the range, of this thing by saying y has to be greater than -1.2. Okay, whatever. Now you see this circle just ends. If you just look at this top circle now, it's disappeared. Okay, but that height is kind of a pain, and what if it doesn't line up right? I kind of eyeballed the circles. That's one way to do it. I had a better idea. Here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to put a limit here, but my limit is going to be a conic inequality. I want this jowl and the head to be behind this jowl of the pooch. I want nothing inside here to exist. So, oh, by the way, if you lose track of where you are, this is the circle I'm interested in. I click on it. Notice over on the side, it highlights. If I've lost track of what folder it's in, I click on it, the head folder highlights. Oh, it's this one, slightly highlighted. Okay, so this is the circle that I want to keep bare. I want to keep these other two circles out of it. So I'm going to copy this circle. I'm going to put it in my condition box. Oh, and everything disappeared. Okay, it's not good. But now I'm going to put, I don't know, a less than there. Look at that. I made the equation of the circle with a less than sign, the condition, the range of values in which the larger circle for the head can exist, and now the head only exists within the larger circle. Of course, that's not what I want. I want it to only exist outside of that circle. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this circle, put it in these brackets with a greater than sign, and it's saying keep out. Don't let anything else in this circle. So I'm going to take this same condition, this stay out of the circle sign, copy it, and I'm going to put it on my other jowl, and now nothing exists inside this circle. Still have a problem. The head's still over here. All right, no worries. I now want this circle, now highlighted, just the circle part, not the condition in the brackets. I'm going to copy that, go back up to the head, create two more brackets, put a new condition on. If I put equal then, the circle disappears. Put another greater than sign, and now, click somewhere else so you can see it a little better, and one thing that helps you see what you're doing is to turn off the grid. I can even turn off the axes. Okay. That's starting to look a little bit like my pooch. Just a little bit. I'm going to bring the axes and the grid back because sometimes they help me place things. I don't really care about the arrows. All right, now let's do that nose. Okay, nose is part of the head. By the way, if you want to stay in your folder, click on the last thing in your folder, hit enter. It creates a new space to work inside that folder. Okay, now, so what we're going to do is create that snout. Let's bring back the picture. Snout is a small circle. Let's see, I'm up to h sub 3. So I'm going to go down here and make another circle, x minus h sub 4 squared. That's not squared, now it is. Plus, parentheses, y minus k sub 4 squared. Still missing that one sign. Equals r sub 4 squared. Okay, there's my circle. It's the red one up here. Don't want it to be red. Don't want it to be there. Don't want it to be empty. So much to think about. Let's start with the empty part. I'm going to make this less than or equal to. Now it fills in the region. All right, now I'm going to put it where I want it. Actually, you know what? I've got that circle pretty well centered at the origin. I probably want h to be 0. Probably don't even need to type it. But it's not perfectly centered. Maybe I'll want it there. Okay, so I'll put this red dot over the nose, shrink it down a little bit. Up, maybe I will want a little bit of X translation. That's pretty good. Make that just a little bit smaller. Maybe move that over. That's too much. Let's bring that back and get my slider back. Okay, down a little bit more. Not that much. Oh, that's pretty good. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Could have stopped a couple moves ago, but I like that. Okay, now I'm going to hit my edit button. Make it black. And that's pretty good. Puppy's starting to shape up. But you know what? The black shader isn't perfect. I don't want these other two circles to be in there. Luckily, Desmos lets you stack as many conditions, I haven't seen a limit yet, on other circles as I want. So here's what I'm doing. I'm copying the equation of the nose. I'm going to make the equation of the nose a condition of the other three circles. Oh, no, that was the problem is, well, two problems there. One, it didn't paste where I wanted to. To make that other bracket disappear, that should be good. Okay, now also, I don't want things to only exist inside the nose. I want them to only exist outside the nose. Didn't really need to do that one because the head wasn't really interfering with the nose, I think. So let's just copy that condition and put it on one of the jowls and the other jowl. Okay, and I notice this is highlighted because that's what I was just working with, so I click anywhere else. All right, now my pup's really starting to shape up. In fact, if I make the grid go away, it looks more like the dog. If I make the axes go away, you can start to see the cartoon dog taking shape. But there's a couple more tricks I want to show you here. Let's close off the head a little bit. Even though, I'm going to put a new folder in now. Even though the eyes are part of the head, I'm going to do those separately to show you guys how powerful folders can be. Let's bring back my picture. Those eyes look pretty elliptical to me. So I'm going to create an ellipse. Let's see, I left off with subscripts with an h sub and a k sub 4. I'm going to use an h and k again, so I'm going to start my first ellipse with x minus h sub 5 squared. Now this is an ellipse, so it's going to be over a sub 5 squared. Again, it's my first a value, but this is basically equation number 5, so everything in it gets a 5 as a subscript. You don't have to do that. There's no reason why you can't. Desmos doesn't care. But just a little trick I use to keep from losing track, like now when I try to talk and do this at once. Okay, Let's finish typing here. And b sub 5, whole thing squared. It's an ellipse. This has to equal 1. Create my sliders. There's my ellipse. It's red again. It's not remotely where I want it. So let's see. H will counterintuitively move it this way. K, I like to have those two together. We'll move it down. All right. A makes it skinnier. Yeah, that might be all I have to do, actually, in terms of resizing this thing. All right, you know what? That's pretty good. Now, I like that. The other eye is the same shape. This pooch has got symmetry. So now I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to move it down because I want to keep track. Oh, not out of my folder, because these sliders go just with this ellipse. Now, the only thing I want to be able to do is move this thing over to the right. So all I'm going to change is this H slider. And now, oh, look at that. Almost landed right in the spot without me hardly doing anything. Okay, now, those red eyes look kind of weird. I'm tempted to leave them red. I don't like that these ellipses are going down into these two jowls. So for this ellipse here, I need to go back to this jowl. Oh, my head folder highlighted. It must be up there. There it is. I'm going to take this ellipse with an equal sign. I'm sorry, this circle with an equal sign. I'm going to put it after this eye as a condition, a limit. And notice it made the eye disappear. Okay? The eye is gone. If you want to get picky, it still does exist, but it's only existing right at the intersection points. This says only graph this ellipse where this circle exists. Now, if I say less than, it's only graphing the ellipse inside that circle. That doesn't make sense for an eyeball behind a jowl. So make it greater than. There's my eye. You know what? Now's a good time to hit edit. Make it the right color. Again, the advantage to this limitation thing totally locks it off perfectly and you don't have to guess about anything. This ellipse, I would like to be blocked by this jowl. So I'm going to take this equation for the jowl itself, not caring about any of its limitations, paste it in there, change this to a greater than sign, edit, change it to black. Pooch is really starting to come together. Head and eyes are in a nice position here. And if I want to see one without the other, I can take a look. Again, I can go over to see how this is really shaping up, make the grid go away, make the axes go away. All right, I'm starting to see something. Just going to show you guys one more thing real quick. And that is make a new folder for the paws. Bring them down here. All right, now these paws, they're just circles, okay? So they're very similar to the jowls, actually. Almost identical to the jowls. Let's see how close they are. I'm going to go back up to the head. I'm going to take this jowl. Okay, there it is. Copy it. Don't need that anymore. Go down to pause, hit enter from the folder, space. Okay, so now I've got that one in blue. And all I really want to be able to do is slide this thing left and right, at least at first. Now with the eyes, I left off at my a sub 6, this H sub 6. So I'm going to start this H off with a 7. If I have to change anything else, that'll do it. Okay, so there's my jowl. And yeah, that lines up really plenty well. That's totally awesome. You know what? While I've got it here, I'm going to change its color to black. And I'm just going to duplicate it 3 more times. And I'm going to make H sub 8, H sub 9, H sub 10. Tell Desmos to go ahead and make those. And I'll bring H sub 7 back up to its ellipse just to be sure. Okay, H sub 8, where you at? It's there. That'll be that paw. H sub 9 is going to be that paw and h sub 10, that last paw over there. Okay, so that sped that up kind of nicely. Definitely hit save. Same rule as video games. Save after anything you don't want to do again. Okay, so this circle, I would like to be cut off, hidden behind this jowl. Okay, so the head one lit up, it's this one. Once again, I will copy this jowl as an equation. I will go down to this first paw, get it to light up again to find it more easily. Put that equation in, change that equals to a greater than, and boom, this paw now is hidden behind that jowl. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I would like this jowl, this paw, excuse me, to be behind that cheek. So I've lit that up. Where's that cheek? Here it is down here. So now I copy the equation of that cheek, go down to this paw. There, it lit it up for me. Hit one bracket, close them off. Oh, doesn't exist because, or barely exists, because I didn't put the greater than sign. Okay, I would now like this paw to block off this other paw. Well, that's easy enough. That paw is this one I just did. So I just go down to the next one. Nope, wait. Let's keep track of what I'm doing here. I'm trying to block off this one. My h sub 9, I want to block off with h sub 8. Okay, got to make sure I'm copying the right equation. And there we go. You won't see anything till you change that to greater than. Lastly, I will take this equation with an h sub 9 in it. I will make staying outside that circle a condition on the next one. And my paws are all nicely lined up. Okay, now there's these lines. All right, let's figure out what to do about them. Part of it's kind of simple, actually. I'm still part of the paws, so vertical line is just x equals some number. This looks like it's about negative 2.6 something. Okay, that's pretty cool. Pretty close. Maybe out 1 more tenth. You know what? I'm going to keep it a 1, but make it a 5. You can drive yourself nuts with this. You can just keep this up all day. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that thing. Oh, it doesn't want me to duplicate it. It's too simple, I guess. Sliders are not easily duplicated. But whatever. I'm just going to cut and paste it. Wouldn't be that hard to rewrite it. This one looks like it's at almost exactly at negative 2. Close. Let's make that negative 1.99999. Could play that game all day. That just keeps getting closer. That's frustrating. I just have to leave it at negative 2. Oh, actually, I'm moving it the wrong way. I have a 2.1. Too much. 2.01, 2.02, 2.03. All right, that's pretty good. I'll leave that there. For my next one, it looks like it's going to be x equals, it almost looks it looks like pretty close to positive 2. 0.1, nope. 0.01, that's pretty good. 0.009. Okay, again, you can drive yourself nuts with this. For my next one, that looks really nicely lined up with what I think is 2.6. Not bad. Again, you can drive yourself nuts, really just. Actually, that was pretty close. Okay, good enough. This next one looks like it's a little bit past 3.6. Maybe there. This next one looks like it's at x, a little bit past 4.2. Nope. Okay, 4.24 seems to do it. This next one looks very close to 5.2. Too much. Okay. Next is x equals, oh, what's that one, 5.8? Pretty close. Just kind of guessing, little extra decimals here. Okay, now, first off, all the colors are wrong. This part, I'm not going to lie, is a little tedious. I was hoping to pick one color and duplicate it, but it didn't seem to want to give me that option for these vertical lines. So, okay, now, all of these lines, okay, I could trace along them, and the picture seems to end at about y equals 2.2, negative 2.2. So first thing is, I only want to see these lines where y is less than negative 2.2. Good enough. I'm going to take that condition, copy it on all of them. Now, these first two lines, I could try and find a similar low value, but you know my circles aren't perfectly lined up. The circle might hit them at slightly different heights. So once again, I'm going to go with the equation of the circle. So this circle is somewhere where I would like this first line to just stay inside. And I've lost, oh, I've still got the equal sign. So I want to stay inside the circle, so less than, yep, perfect. My first little line there stays inside the circle. Can see it more clearly without the picture. All right, so that condition is also exactly what I want on the next little paw line. These two paw lines I want to stay inside this circle, apparently. So I highlight that. If I hit one bracket, then paste, then hit the other bracket, then go back, hit less than, that works. And since it's exactly what I want for the next line, cut and paste it there. I would like these two lines to stay inside this circle. Make sure I just grab the equation of the circle. One bracket inside, go back, change it to less than. It's exactly what I want for the next one, so copy that, paste it once more. Looks like this is the circle I want to stay inside because it's what lit up when I clicked on it. Put that inside the brackets. Oh, make sure to change that to my less than sign. Copy and paste it. Okay, this is a really good start. And the paws are all in a folder. If I want to see how it looks without the paws for some reason, I can check each part separately. A lot of cutting and pasting, a lot of sliders helped, but it's coming along. These ears would be tricky. These would be simple lines that you can cut off with either more brackets or make them parametric. That's probably elliptical. That's probably most of an ellipse. This part's a little tricky. I'm thinking a hyperbola. That can be a line. It's not perfectly linear, but a line there. But you know, the bottom half of a hyperbola, that might be the way to go with that. And an ellipse, that could be pretty cool. But I'm going to let you guys struggle from there. And, oh, I've got a mistake here. Look at that. I need that paw in front of that cheek. Okay, so another condition on this cheek has to be this paw, not the other way around. So let's see. That paw is, unsurprising, the paws folder. It's the first one. It shouldn't have any conditions on it. And what I should have done is taken the equation of this paw and made it a condition, click on it to find it, of this jowl. Just, whoop, does not like to let me delete everything that way. So, get down to one bracket here, paste in that equation of that paw, make it greater than, because we're trying to keep everything outside the paw, and look at that. Oh, just look at what I did. When I got rid of the condition, messed up the nose a little bit. So another condition on this circle has to be that nose. So let's see. This was, on that jowl. Okay. So we'll put that in there as greater than. Okay, I think now, yeah, my circles all line up the way they do in the drawing. If I want to double check, one piece at a time, make the head go away. Okay, the paws how I want them, yep. The eyes how I want them, sure. Head how I want them, absolutely. Okay, and that should be enough to get you guys started. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Be safe.